As you can see, I ran out of room here, so let me flip over to the next page. And I promise we don't have that much for today, but let's talk about the next big thing. So now we talked about the general shape. Now we're going to talk about another term that is called a root or roots. So roots in plural. So kind of like think about the roots of a tree. That's what it's saying, like ROOTS. Now specifically in mathematics, or even more specifically with parabolas, whenever we talk about roots, this is talking about where the parabola crosses, and then watch out for this, it's where it crosses the x-axis. So keep that in mind, it's where it crosses the x-axis, not the y-axis. The y-axis, that was the y-intercept. Okay? So the roots, it's where the parabola crosses the x-axis. Now you could technically call it, since it's crossing the x-axis, kind of like the x-intercept. Or I should put x-intercepts, could be more than one. Because again, it's crossing the x-axis. So let's do a quick examples. We actually have 3 scenarios for this. So let me draw a quick graph over here. So again, this is my x-axis. X always goes left and right. Y is going up and down. So we can have, like I mentioned before, 2 roots. Let me use a different color here so you guys can see. So again, this is a general parabola, but something like this. Now my roots, as I mentioned over here, these are the roots exactly where I cross this line right here. So let me draw a line. So this is a root. This is a root. And in this case, we have 2 roots because we cross the x-axis twice. Okay. Now, different scenario. Now, let me box this because it's going to be important. But let me do another quick graph over here. X and Y axis. So X, Y. Let me use a different color. Maybe I'll use blue. And again, it doesn't matter where the graph actually is. What I care about is where it crosses the x-axis. So I'm just going to choose like over here, and I'm going to choose a dot here, and then I'm going to have this sort of shape over here. So now I drew kind of poorly, but I want you guys to realize this parabola is like only touching the graph at that point. Okay? It's not like it's crossing here, it's like touching it at that point, then pointing off. So this is 1 root, because it's like only touching the x-axis at this one point. It goes down, touches it, excuse me, then it goes back up. And then last but not least, let me draw another quick graph over here. X, y-axis. So again, since we're talking about roots where it crosses the x-axis, so we have 2 roots, 1 root, seems like we're going down. So let's talk about the final case. If it's like way up here. Now notice it's not even touching the x-axis. So how many roots do you guys think? Wow, that's a very Dora the Explorer type of moment, because I have no idea if you guys can see it. Anyway, so this is no roots. Because again, if you think about roots, it's where it crosses the x-axis. It's not crossing the x-axis. Again, x-axis goes this way. This is the y-axis. That's a different story. Because we're talking about the x-axis, it never touches it. It keeps going to infinity this way. It has to be this shape. It can't go back down because that changes the shape. So if it goes both ways up, 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 it's never going to touch the x-axis. So it's no roots. Okay? So now, here's a question I want you guys to copy down. So question right down here, let me scoot up. So think about the shape of a parabola. So I want you guys to think about that shape. What is the maximum number of roots a parabola can have? Oops, I misspelled, sorry. Parabola can have. So I showed you 3 cases: no roots, 1 roots, 2 roots. So I want you guys to think about, can we have 3 roots? Can we have 4? What's the maximum number? Like, we can't have more than this number. Okay, so this is a question I do want you to answer, and I'll collect it at the end.